This is a time when other teams start to make some moves, particularly in a loaded offensive draft, right? Talking about maybe 20, 21 picks could be on the offensive side. But I want to start with talking about being from Louisiana, right? Growing up a New Orleans Saints fan, huge LSU Tiger guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with a provocation here, Dave. Maybe Jaden Daniels isn't that good.
You had to go all the way there? You had to go all the way to maybe he's not good?
Again, a provocation means, please tell me that he is.
Well, the irony, RJ, look, I am an LSU fanatic. Anybody who knows me knows that. That's where I went to school. It's where my family and most of my friends are. But I'm also A, a journalist, and B, a level-headed type of fan. So, like, I'll be the first person. I'll hop on here and tell you, if I had the Commanders pick at number 2 overall in the draft on Thursday night, I would draft Drake May. I would. I think his arm talent is insane. The athleticism that goes along with it, some of the off-platform stuff that he does, the throws that he was able to make despite not having an offensive line or much of a supporting cast. I love Drake May. I would take him number 2 overall. But to get on here and say Jaden Daniels isn't any good whatsoever,
it's not that good.
It's a bridge too far for me. And I think the reason why is I just think there is enough natural talent there to help Jaden Daniels overcome whatever his deficiencies might be. Like, yeah, he's not going to be able to run as much in the NFL as he did in college, but that is still a valuable part of his game. When you talk, like, and like I said, you're not going to see Jaden doing the stuff he did in college, you know, pulling the ball down and running for 65 yards against Florida. You're not going to see that in the NFL, but you talk about a guy with the athleticism and the wherewithal, and I think the pocket presence to turn a broken protection into a 4 to 6 yard gain. Absolutely possible, absolutely valuable in the NFL. He's got a good, not amazing arm, but a more than good enough arm and the ability to make things happen out of schedule. I think Jaden Daniels, which this applies to so many more quarterbacks than we give it credit for, he needs to go somewhere where he can lean on other elements of his offense. But how many people doesn't that apply to? You know what I mean? Like, there just aren't very many guys that are going to be successful regardless of their supporting cast. So if you take Jaden and put him somewhere where he's going to have time to throw and he's going to have receivers that create enough separation to give him confidence to throw on time, I think he's going to be a pretty good player. I do think Drake May and Caleb Williams have the higher NFL ceiling. I'll go with you that far.
Okay, so let me back into this Jaden Daniels take, right? I've been watching Jaden Daniels play for 5 years, 6 years, going back to watching him sit out the opening final because he was hurt and he couldn't go. And I saw him at Arizona State. Good quarterback, took care of the football. He transfers to LSU. I'm like, okay, maybe we'll see here. And then 2023, I saw a different human being, so much so that he's an alien, because the jump that dude took from, say, 2019 to 2023 is ridiculous. I got so much data to show he was only this guy for this year. Couple of things just make me uneasy, right? I think there's a better comparison to Bryce Young as far as him getting ragdolled. I don't like the way that he gets hit. Like, Lamar Jackson don't get hit like that, and he takes off running with the ball. Jaden has me afraid for his life. And then, I mean, you know better than anybody else. All y'all do is produce these Pro Football Hall of Fame wide receivers that go eat everybody up. So I'm like, I was so mad. I was so mad in 2019. We don't have to talk about it. We ain't got to talk about it. But I am going to say, I think that Jaden Daniels is good. I don't know that I'm going to trade up to go get him, right? I mean, Caleb and Drake, we can have a different conversation with, but I'm really thinking about Jaden Daniels versus Michael Penix Jr., right? Do you want an older quarterback who's got the injury history but is lightning with the ball and get it out? I'm also thinking about a guy like Bo Nix, who's I still can't wrap my head around, kind of like in that Jaden Daniels space for me. But the guy that you mentioned you didn't mention, but you kind of mentioned him, we're talking about, is he going to get some help from those guys around him? J.J. McCarthy did a lot of that at Michigan. So I'm wondering, if you're in an apples to oranges conversation here, Jaden Daniels can make these plays when there is no play to make, and yet he somehow does that. Or a guy that can very much just run your offense, and J.J. McCarthy, I kind of think that he's Brock Purdy with wheels. Maybe I'm being harsh. Am I being harsh in any of those assessments?
I don't think you're being harsh. And this quarterback class it's especially terrifying because like even Caleb Williams, who we all recognize is going to go first and has been that dude for several years. I think you can come up with valid criticisms for the way that he played last year. I know USC's offense was a mess as well, but that's the problem of your own success. When you win a Heisman Trophy the year before your final season in college, you get held to that standard. I think there were enough warts in his junior tape that, again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't take Caleb number 1 overall, but even he comes with things that make you second guess yourself, and now apply that to the rest of this class. I mean, I can come up with something terrifying about all of these guys. Drake May, again, you didn't see the success on the field. I think some of the decision making on Drake May's part can be pretty out there over the course of, if you watch enough games. Jaden, yeah, there is. And that's another part of it with Jaden and Michael Penix as well. Some of these guys have been playing college football forever.
It's not a great thing. It's not my favorite thing.
RJ.
Not my favorite
RJ.
thing.
Like you realize Jaden Daniels threw the ball to Brandon Ayuk in college. Jaden Daniels and Ayuk played at Arizona State together. Ayuk is angling for his second NFL contract.
You're speaking my language. You really are.
Yeah. And I mean, Bo Nix, look, I'm an SEC fan. I remember Bo Nix being like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde throughout his Auburn career, where it's like, all right, is this guy going to be the amazing athlete who can make something happen out of nothing? Or is he going to be the guy that loses DBs in coverage every other time he drops back? Or is he going to be the Heisman candidate from Oregon? So some of these guys have such a large body of work that it almost like paralyzes you because you're like, which guy is the real guy? I think that's a very real thing. And age is an element, Jaden and Penix in particular, you're like, okay, you're not young by prospect standards. Like how much room for growth is there? How much more potential is there to unlock from what we've already seen across a 4 or 5 year college career? So I think this is it's a unique draft class where you can argue for or against all of these guys in half a dozen different ways. I didn't even get to the most polarizing one of all. I don't know what to do with JJ McCarthy. I'll be honest with you. JJ McCarthy scares the bejesus out of me because, again, as a diehard college football fan, I watched most, if not all, of Michigan's games because they were a national title contender. And you get to the end of the season and you're like, wait, they're talking about this guy as a first round pick? Based on what? What am I missing? And then you go back and there were some really impressive moments against Alabama. There were some really impressive moments against Michigan. But like, is that enough to stake your reputation on?
But that's just it with JJ, right? It is, the tools are there. Like he will flash it. The speed he has, the arm strength he has. You see, like I said, Brock Purdy. I said Brock Purdy because if Brock Purdy could run and Brock Purdy could throw a football faster than Joe Milton can throw a football, he would be JJ McCarthy. Now, the offense they ran is the offense they ran, right? And I think that is what we're really arguing about is, okay, what offense you going to put him in? Like, I mean, the Niners are taken, right? Maybe what Sean Payton is doing in Denver, but apparently he just made a trade for Zach Wilson. So I'm not really sure where he fits in as far as what franchises are doing right now. But to your point, I was watching him for years going, okay, I see a 5-star here, but they're not letting that guy be the guy that I think he could be. Now, is that good or bad, right? Because Drake May got the keys from Phil Longo. We saw some good. We saw some bad, right? I see a lot of what I would like in a modern quarterback in him with less drama than Caleb Williams. And I'm an Oklahoma fan saying this, right? He pulled us out a couple of times. Then he lost his job to Spencer Rattler. Then he transferred to USC. He wins a Heisman Trophy. Also, back to that, right? He's kind of what we've come to expect from a Lincoln Riley quarterback. If you like what you've seen, consider subscribing to the #1 college football show on YouTube, the Fox Sports app, or wherever you get your podcast.